This is the trade.
Just to let you know, I'm recording this. This is so going on my face. Oh man!
Not gonna get that opportunity. So everybody that has been a part of my grandmother's life should feel lucky. And I was asked by my cousin, she called me and she said we're gonna do something for grandma. 75 years on this planet. And I was here for 22 of them. I've been here for 22 of them now. And
40. Come on now.
but anyway, so I was sitting at my desk at work and I wrote a little something in reference to not only my relationship with my grandmother, but a lot of my other cousins. And it goes, by the grace of God, I was blessed to have as a grandmother, grace of God. I feel as if I'm one of the luckiest people in the world to have had what I consider the perfect grandmother. You see, my grandmother has provided all the necessary tools to mold a child so willing into a responsible adult. In order to allow you to see through my eyes what I consider perfection, I have to share with you some of the memories I hold dear. You see, I spent a lot of my summers right at grandmother's house. And in those few months, I learned a great deal. In truth, I don't consider her a grandmother at all, but a second mother who is reigning. Now, the things that I'm going to mention, a great many of my cousins can attest to, for they've witnessed them as well. I remember that a normal day would start off by hearing grandmother walking through the house, washing clothes, and sweeping and mopping the floor, and going from there right into cooking breakfast. And from that into washing dishes and getting her kitchen right. Not to be left out of all that was the trip around the house after the floors had dried in order to wake up all of us. Now the first trip around, she came through in a quiet voice. Y'all wake up. The second time around, it was a little bit more stern. Y'all get out that bed now. That third time around, she came through there with that broomstick. And you knew she meant business right about then, so it was time to get up and get the move. We learned that everyone has some responsibility. If you slept in the bed and messed it up, then you also need to make up the bed and clean the room. Those of us that had the opportunity to go through that were the lucky ones. Some of y'all young ones didn't get a chance, but I'm here to tell you about it. We learned so much from Grandma and Grandpa. Also, through that switch, we developed a very close bond that surpassed what most consider cousins to have. And y'all know what I'm talking about when I say that switch. I know you know. They nurtured that attitude in their daily teachings. I'm probably the second largest food consumer in the family. Number one, I ain't gonna mention. And a lot of that can be attributed to all the work that we saw that went into the meal. I finally remember Grandpa with that garden hoe tilling the soil, followed by Grandma with that broomstick wallowing out a hole, followed by one of us children dropping in seeds, followed by another dropping in fertilizer, followed by one more covering them over, and another with the water and some more pulling the weeds. All that taking place over several acres up on that hill. And that just covered the plant. We would later have to pull the weeds and eventually we would have to harvest. Grandma was our doctor to get rid of all of our ills. If you got a fish bone in your throat, eat some bread. Been a minute day, she done sent me up to Aunt Edna's house to get some cornbread because I went at that fish a little bit too hard. And I needed a remedy for it. If you got a bee sting or a wasp sting, put some tobacco on it. But it gotta be chewed. It gotta be chewed. Red bug eating you up or you got it in fire ants, get in that tub. I'm gonna take a cap full of this Lysol out of that brown bottle, not that new stuff they got. Out that brown bottle, you can't even see what color it is. I'm gonna throw that in there, you're gonna be alright. And if you ever got sick, it was some type of concoction, I don't know what the name of it is, somebody might have found out, but they kept it in that top cabinet over the stove, way in the back. Grandpa had to get on a ladder and get it, knock some cobwebs off of it, and pull it out. But when they gave it to you, it did the trick. Now it tastes like what I think motor oil would taste like if you pulled it out of your car at 3,000 miles. But it get that cold right up out you. If you had a ringworm, fig leaf, if you got burned, an aloe vera plant. Grandma knew the remedy for it all. And if you got out of line, she had a remedy for that as well. She kept a switch every bit of 7 feet long. Right in that corner behind her chair. And don't think you got away. I seen the time that one of us was sweating, we got out of that door fast enough to avoid being hit by Grandma. She ain't messed up about that. She'll sit right there in that chair. She'll wait a few hours until you forgot. But she still know. And you gonna get paid for that right there. As soon as you proceed to walk past, she'll quietly grab that branch out the corner. They call it a switch, but it looked like one of the things holding up a pine tree needle to me. She'll grab that and give you what she owes. We never ran out of soap, tissue, food, clean clothes, or anything that made life comfortable. We played and worked all day and sat and gave our grandparents pedicures and back rubs at night. And they deserved it because they truly did more before 6 a.m. than most people do all day. Now if I won $1 million tomorrow, it would not be enough to repay the debt that we owe to our grandparents. Grandma Grace and Grandpa Frank, in my opinion, did a wonderful job. We have probably destroyed over $500,000 worth of them front picture window glasses right there. And another $500,000 worth of furniture. Like I said before, there could not be a better, more perfect grandmother in the world. Not perfect in the sense of without worldly flaws, but perfect in the sense that in the eyes of her family, she is flawless. She took what she had and raised a beautiful family and continued to touch lives by raising a lot of her grandchildren. Those of you who did not get the chance to spend those days in that environment missed out because it was truly a joy. That's how I feel about my grandmother.
Sing. I could probably write a poem and say a poem, but I can't compete with him. I thought about doing a little dance, but Eileen said no. So probably all three of those are probably good, but they didn't work out. But what I am able to do is borrow from Thomas. I have a poem to recite for Mother. But before I do that, I decided that I'd take an approach that I tend to sometimes be good at, and that's write a letter. Although she would say probably not because she doesn't get a whole lot of it from me. But I thought I'd put the thoughts about her and what it meant, what she's meant to me, and I think in doing so it would probably cover my sisters and brothers as well in one voice. So the little letter goes this way. Hey Mama, this is your wayward son. You know, the one who you don't seem to see very often, or who doesn't seem to call you or write you or visit as often as you would like. I don't make it home much, but I'm certainly happy to be here today with family and friends to help celebrate your birthday. So I'd like to join my brothers and sisters in telling you just how much we appreciate you and all that you have done for us. I have heard it said by some that who you are and what you become in life is largely determined by what you learn during the early years of your life. Ultimately, we're all a sum of all our total life experiences. Looking back, however, growing up was pretty tough, but we all made it, and now you are surrounded by your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and lots of friends and neighbors. You laid a great foundation for us. What I learned about life between the ages of 1 and 17, and those were the years I was home, has carried me through all the good and the bad situations I've encountered since then. Whenever there's a question about how to handle something or someone, I can always return to those things that I learned from you.
Lift mine eyes to Calvary, to view the cross that Jesus died for me. How marvelous this grace that caught my falling soul. He looked beyond my fault and saw my need. She saw my need. I need to be here with you.